Evening from Live News and Demo News. It's going to be a packed week this week. I've got a special guest on today, and that's Sharon, whose alias is Binks. She's a really good protester. She does a lot of speaking, and she carries a camera around. She's very good at doing that, and she stands up for our children, and very good on protest. She's also good in front of the camera. So, folks, could you please welcome her in now? It is going to be a really busy show. Hiya, Sharon.
Hello, people. Hello, Phil. Lovely to see you, as always.
Yeah, thanks for coming on, Sharon. It's brilliant. Could you tell the people a little bit about yourself?
Yes.
And what you do, what you actually do as well.
Yeah, I started, my first demo I went to was in Sunderland for Justice for Chelsea, a girl who got raped and wasn't, the CPS had dropped it. That was around the time of Manchester bombing and the time that the football lads all got together. And that led me to when I was speaking about it in the workplace, I lost my job, stayed off the streets for the rest of the year, got sacked, and then went to a demonstration in Newcastle for the veterans in the February. And then there was a remembrance march in Manchester for the 22 in Manchester, and I got arrested for being with Red Pill Phil and John Lawrence. Oh, no. That's in court next month, 3 years on. So yeah, and from that, kind of people started to get to know.
She's really.
Sorry, Phil.
Sorry, just carry on. I've got a little bit of interference off my phone, so I've had to turn it down and stuff like that.
Yeah, and then I got asked to the group of girls in Sunderland that were starting to campaign against all the rapes that were going on, and I got asked to join Justice for Women and Children, and it just went from there. Really, that was in 2018, and we were going up and down the country, going to all the demos, the veterans, the kids demos, anybody really that was fighting for justice. And yeah, you kind of have to speak out, and I'm so pleased to see how many people now are speaking out. There's so many. When I started, I was shouting out for the women to come on the street, because it was all the football lads initially, and against the terrorism and things, and the veterans. So now to see how many women and even families, young and old, are coming out on the streets, because we've been pushed to the limits now. I mean, I felt we were pushed to the limits back then, and I was quite glad that things have come to a standstill with the lockdowns, in a sense that all the systems now are being exposed and broken down. So families educate their children at home, and kind of seeing through the education system for what it is, and the manipulations, and people are standing up now for the rights. I think they've got to remember as well, they haven't lost the freedom, they just need to fight for the rights.
Yeah, definitely. You're one of the co-founders of Children's Matter as well, aren't you? You, Bobby, Joseph, Katie.
I started I had a show on, it was Right Unity at the time, and they asked me to do a show, so I was doing that weekly, and I interviewed Katie Jane Swallow, who'd been through the forced adoption, and so it kind of grew from there, really. Getting in contact when I was on the streets, when I was speaking on the streets, every time we spoke on the street, somebody would come forward and tell us their story. They've been abused or groomed or whatever it was, and a lot of them were coming forward and telling me about forced adoption. I didn't really know anything about it, but because I'd worked in children's services, I started looking into it, and it's horrendous. If anybody wants to look into forced adoption, then you'll see how there is good cause to take children from certain families, but the way they're doing it now, to take the babies at birth, because to meet the numbers, the figures for adoption, Tony Blair decided that you had to go through the process very quickly, and that's sort of pushed the forced adoption up the scale, really. And the methods that they're using now through social services, which we do still campaign, although it's gone in the shadows a little bit because of what's going on. It's all linked. It's all linked to the abuse of power and the interruption to family life and the complete interference in parenting and family life. You know, they've gone above and beyond any mark they should have crossed long ago in interfering with the families, through the education system, through the health system, through social services. Parents are just being monitored and marked, you know, accordingly. You could be living in a postcode area and they'll target you. So it's going on, and I think go on.
I think the government are just interested in just ruining the family unit, basically. There's more money in it to be made.
Yeah, because they you know,
yeah.
When you look at the whole agenda, when you look at the end goal for them, I mean, I don't want to go down any rabbit holes, but when you look at where they're heading and what their goal is, if anybody's looked at the Agenda 21, Agenda 30, the state wants to own the children. And people go on about 1984 being the reality today, but actually Aldous Huxley's Brave New World is more to the mark. When you look at what they're doing to the family and how they're sexualizing children, they're sexualizing children to normalize paedophilia, which is why they've tagged it onto the LGBT movement, which is an offense, I think, to the gay community, because I don't know any gay people that want to be linked to child rape. It's not a sexual orientation. It's an abuse of power, and so yeah, it's covered up. It's covered up in a sense, but it's exposed and it's in your face so much so that people miss it. Can't see the wood for the trees. You know, they convince these young parents now that you're talking about gender to your child and letting them choose at 5 years old, 6 years old is a good thing, because, you know, they know who they are, and it's like, it's gone beyond ridiculous, really. When you get to our age, like I'm in my 50s, so I've seen how the education system's gone from when I was in it to, you know, the spiral from the 80s since I left it to today. And I was praying that a lot of parents were going to elect to home educate their children after they opened the schools back up, especially now that with this program they want to introduce into schools with the you know, this is, you have to it's not a case of giving consent, it's a case of denying it. You have to physically say no. It's not a case of getting them your permission, and I don't know if parents would know that. So yeah, you have to withdraw from that program.
Yeah. With the school education, I'm a little bit worried more. I am a lot worried about the RSE, the PCP, what the PCP girls have been campaigning with. It's regarding the sex ed in schools, and it's already in Scotland, in England. It's already in some schools, and what really it's coming into Wales, September. And what really bothers me, the parent can't even opt out. And they haven't even got a choice. Far as they're concerned, their sexual rights from birth are up to the government and not up to the parent, and it's pretty sick. Could everybody, if you could, join Demo Welshman on YouTube, please, because they're the only comments I can actually see. I have got a few on my phone, but I can't see the Facebook comments. I can only see the Facebook comments on my phone, and I can't put them up. So if you could all please jump on Demo Welshman on YouTube, that'd be great. Thank you. Yeah, so the RSE, have you got many campaigns going in England with it? Because we've got a really big one going in Wales.
No, I don't know. I've not heard anything around the schools and I mean, my grandchildren, well, my grandson's at primary school, but it's not hit their school or this area as far as I know. I just know that when they started introducing the academies, I'd been down a few rabbit holes before then, and so that to me was the next phase of bringing in the communist agenda, you know, through the education system. Stasi camps, I renamed them Stasi camps. I was working within the schools at that point, and I could see what they were doing, how they were manipulating the decisions of the head teachers to get on board with the academies. And they introduced it to the high schools first, and it was, you know, they sold it to them very well, and then the primary schools, and then it became a thing that you could only be an independent, if you could only have that control that they offered you if you had an outstanding Ofsted. And you know, if not, you had to be part of an academy village, which is completely controlled, obviously. And now they get fined when kids are off school and things like that. It's all a monetary, it's a business anyway. But it's that uniform teaching, but also they don't have to follow the government guidelines. You might look on the government website to see what sex education, religious education guidelines are. They don't have to follow them. They can choose what they teach on those subjects in the academies. So this is written in, you know, so this is where parents, I know for a lot of parents, they couldn't wait for the kids to go back to school. But actually, you've got to kind of look on a deeper level, and it's not just a place where they go to learn. You know, it's a dangerous environment to the existence of us, really, because they're so manipulated and brainwashed. So you only have to see the young parents of today, the millennials, we call them, and their kind of understanding of what we would have seen as a mental health problem, body dysmorphia for one of them, right? It was a mental health problem that you got help therapy for, is now a normality. And so when you see things turned on the head and the truth becomes lies and vice versa, it becomes a very crazy world, and we get called the crazy ones because we can see it, you know. So
mad conspiracy theorists, aren't we? And everything you say comes true.
And future proofs past, as I know the Q movement kept saying, that future proofs past, because what you see is what was told to you. I mean, David Icke, when I spoke to him and his daughter in London the last time I was there, she didn't want to be on camera, and I said, "Oh, sorry, I'm live." And she had a daughter with her, and I said, "Oh, at least he's getting recognised, mobbed for the right reasons now, because he got such a warm welcome." And she said, "You know, we've been in tears, the pair of us, because it's obviously they've as a family must have gone through hell, you know." It's not nice, is it, when you get discredited for trying to warn people to really, what all we're doing is trying to get people to think, you know, you've got to start questioning it. If your intuition at least tells you this doesn't seem right, then question it, look at it, research it. There's lots of stuff out there. Look at both sides of it. Somewhere in both sides is the truth, and you've got to find what sits within you, what resonates with you as the truth, because that's how I do it. I ignore those that are pushed into the limelight, and I take notice of those that are discredited and pushed to the sidelines, or they want them to disappear. I listen to what they've got to say, because we all know, I mean, the reason I lost my job was because I was saying things, it was the truth, but they didn't want to hear it, because it's not politically correct, is it, to tell the truth?
Yeah, it didn't. Yeah, it doesn't suit the agenda for you to be truthful nowadays, does it? No. You get victimized. You get victimized for speaking up for the truth, and then when the truth is found out, there's no sorry or anything like that. Like, I mean, it's bonkers, really, to be honest with you.
And I just think people have got short memories, haven't they? Really, it's not that long ago since the Second World War. You know, it's the methods that they're using with the medical teams and the doctors and the nurses. I mean, it's not that long ago, is it? It's not beyond reason that they would do it again, because they got away with it. Well, they had the Nuremberg trials, but they're getting away with it today.
Yeah, I hope those numerous trials come back and haunt them all. We need a part 2 for all the politicians, for the police who have complied with it, especially that even social services. They all need to be brought to account. Like, it's simple as that.
Yeah,
Hi, Jackie.
They've created. I can't read those comments, by the way, on my phone, so I'm not being ignorant if I'm not reading them, but I can't see them.
It's all right.
Yeah,
it's fine.
They offer rewards, but I think for the last probably 20 years, I mean, I know the kids that in the school when I was working there, the kids that are out of school rather, they push them into the health and social care route, and I do believe that with this common purpose training as well, that they've targeted those that showed the narcissistic traits that can be tempted by the carrot. They easily sell their soul because they don't have any empathy for anybody else. And I think those are the character traits that they've gone for in these jobs for the last however many years. You know, the professionals, I've seen professionals ganging up on parents time after time. I've heard the way that they talk about these so-called professionals talk about these parents, but yet when I've worked with children of these professionals, they've been worse, you know, or as bad as the kids that the parents are slagging, you know, they're slagging them off. So yeah, it's and then they're out on a weekend snorting whatever and then criticizing a parent and marking them you know, not fit to be a parent because of they maybe smoke cannabis or something like that. It doesn't stop them being a good parent. But yeah, I think they've used the and I know my friends and family get sick of the word narcissist coming out of my mouth, but it's the best way
I can't even say it.
People. Sorry.
Yeah, Kimmy. I said I can't even say it. Kimmy said, I saw a conversation and one person said, oh, it's to alert the children to abuse. I know my mother's a teacher. What at a coswallop? That's about the RSE, that is. And I think she's one of the Welsh girls who are fighting back as well. Because we have got demos in Wales and we are trying to overturn it because they passed the bill sneakily through the COVID. So, but we still went down there. There was a few of us, but people were afraid to come out.
Yeah.
But
well,
the thing is, you won't really notice it, and your kids probably won't notice it. It's the 3 to 5 year olds who will be pushed this agenda to start off with, and then as they're going through the system.
Go on. You just reminded me.
As they're going through the system.
Yeah.
As they're going through the system, they'll be taught along the way. So the 12-year-olds won't necessarily be taught now about all genders and stuff like that. They already know about that. But as you're going along, these 3 to 5 year olds will be taught this in school from the word go. Then it'll go to anal and safe sex. All genders will be taught from around about 3 to 4 year olds. So they're trying to push the old blinking system. But they'll be starting from this generation. Yeah, but it makes no difference. They've taken your right away. I wouldn't consent. I hope my granddaughter doesn't consent.
No, but do you know what they're doing? Did you know what they're doing? They're saying we're teaching about consent. Now, if a child is manipulated to say that they gave consent, does that let the abuser off the hook? Because the child understands what consent is. So if a child's manipulated into saying, yes, I gave consent because they're frightened, does that mean the abuser gets off with it? Yeah. This is how they work around it. They're so sneaky. And parents go, oh, it's to teach them so they're aware and so that, well, no, they only do it to help themselves. There's so many paedophiles on such high levels, in so many high positions, in the courts, in the police, just everywhere. It's you would not believe. I've just watched the video about the Australian elite, like they get the, but anyway, I've just watched a video about them and how many of them are involved. The pedo parties and this is how they get away with it. And when people only focus on the grooming gangs, right? the grooming bit is the bit that they get these kids drawn in, and they desensitize them, they drug them, they do whatever. We then carry on calling it grooming. No, it's child rape. The predators, the child rapists. It's not. They've done with the grooming bit when they've hooked them in. It's child rape from that point in. So when everybody focuses on that, it takes away the attention from the real problem, which is the higher realms that are protecting, and the people that these people are providing these children for in the trafficking world. So yeah, it's entrenched in the higher realms, I'm afraid, and they only expose them when they die.
It's pretty sick, because what's behind what's sick behind it is all this sex education is based, their research is based off paedophiles. I was gonna make a point as well, which I'd forgotten about.
Sorry, when you said about the 5-year-olds, when my grandson was when they lived in North Yorkshire, he ended up looking at something on his phone that he didn't need to see at that age, because in school they talked to them about having to call your body bits by its proper name. So they were talking about you've got to call it a vagina and a penis, right? So he thought he'd look up what the proper name for boobs was, because they didn't cover that bit. And so he ended up seeing things on his phone that he burst into tears, and he told his mum what had happened. Had the school not done that, he wouldn't have had that experience. Do you see what I'm? That's how, and you can rationalize that all you want.
Yeah, definitely.
But that's how seeps through.
So, what demos have you got planned that you're going to go to over the next few weeks or months, Sharon?
Well, there's one in Middlesbrough on Saturday, I believe, 12 o'clock onwards. I'm not sure of the venue, because
that's good.
They've not revealed it yet, I don't think. But I'll just turn up in the town, hopefully, and catch some good. Hope there's lots of people there. I think there's quite a few people planning to go, to be honest. Possibly down to London on the 20th. 3 days. Is there somewhere to stick a tent up outside? If we go down for that,
there's actually a village in Shepherd's Bush.
Right. You can stick a tent up
there's
there.
a village in Shepherd's Bush. There's a tent village up there.
Is it froze?
So
can't hear you.
Yeah, you're all right now. Hello. Yeah, folks, if you've got a tent, if you could please go to, if you want to put a tent up in London, you can go to Shepherd's Bush. Can you hear me now, Sharon? All these technical issues. Yeah, I can hear you. I can hear you. Oh, here we go. Do you want to?
You've muted me or something.
No. Do you want to come back in?
Do you want me to go out? Come back in.
Yeah. Right, folks. Yeah. If you're looking for somewhere to stay, folks, there is a place up in Shepherd's Bush. They've got a village together, and it's pretty all right. I've met a few of the people from there. It's like a community, so it's really cheap because you're not paying for accommodation. And I'm trying to get Sharon back on because she's a very interesting person. And I think here she comes. Let's see if we can get her back on. Hello, can you hear me now? Oh, no way.
Not with that.
Is it your Wi-Fi?
That might be better. That's it. That's better.
No, you can hear me now, can you?
Yes, I can. Sorry,
right,
Phil,
yeah, as I was saying, Yeah. There is, if you're going to take a tent, you can actually camp there. There's a place in Shepherd's Bush. It's in Shepherd's Bush. I can get the details for you. I met a few of the people from Monday, and they were good people. It's just like, there must be about 50 tents there. So,
oh, really?
yeah. I'm sure
Nice
the police
one.
will try to move them. Pardon?
Nice one. I think I'll have to join them on Sunday.
It's free accommodation, isn't it?
Brilliant.
It's free accommodation.
I don't mind camping out.
Yeah.
I don't mind a bit of camping out.
Yeah, I do that all the time at the PDSD camp. So, do you think if you're going to Blackpool as well in July?
I'm hoping. Yeah,
it's on the 17th. There is.
That's the children's one, isn't it? Is it?
Yeah, that's the children's one. It'll be on the pier, won't it? Like last time, where we froze. Well, I froze.
It was bloody freezing that day, wasn't it? It was really windy.
Yeah,
but I think I've been asked to speak.
Oh, good. Yeah, Joseph and Bobby have been asked to speak as well. So
happy birthday, twins!
They'll be going.
It's the birthday.
Yeah, happy birthday, the twins. Yeah, I've got a little video at the end. It'll be for Bobby and Joe for their birthday. I'll be seeing them Friday.
Love the guys. Love to you. Peace, love, and happiness.
Yeah, they're brilliant. Yeah, they're brilliant. They are. Pair of them. All right. So, have you got any other demos you're thinking of going to?
Well,
don't say you're frozen again.
Oh, have I? 30th? No, 24th.
No,
of
you're
July.
right now.
24th of July. Is the next big one in London, isn't it? After this one. But they're popping up all over the place, aren't they? You kind of get to know about them last minute and things. So wasn't there was the one planned to do a block the roads, the motor one, the traffic?
I know on the 21st, on the Monday, there's 2 demos in London. They'll probably meet up down Downing Street. One's with Geza, and the other one is for all the freedom groups. They're all meeting up.
Right.
So, but then on the 25th, you got a demo outside the BBC. Obviously, we want that statue down, and it's for the children. And then on the 26th, then you got the big one. But obviously, there's a lot of other things going on the 26th.
Yeah.
There's a vets one, bikers in Bristol. I think there's something else somewhere else. I'm not 100% sure. But there's a lot going on the 26th again. So we'll see.
Yeah. I mean, it'd be good if we could get kind of organised in every community, wouldn't it? Just to get pockets of people out all at the same time and things. And especially during the week, you know, when the places are open, rather than on a weekend when they're all at home, all these civil servants. Crackers, aren't there? I've got a little point. I was watching a video the other day about
you've got a problem with your voice now.
Oh, have I? Jeez. Do you know what it is? I don't know if it's I don't know how much battery life I've got. 30. Has it come back? No? Can you hear me?
I can hardly hear you, Sharon.
Right, let me try plug this back in.
Yeah. Have you got earphones? Have you got earphones?
Not on me. Let me just see if this works better. Hear me now?
Yeah, because you're frozen. Yeah, I can hear you now.
I can't hear you though.
But your picture's frozen. Yeah, that's it.
I can hear.
Oh, right, no.
I'm gonna have to take it out to hear what you were saying. Right. Speak. I've got my battery pack in.
Yeah, all right.
What were you asking me? What were you? And I'll plug it back in. What were you asking me?
I've totally forgotten.
Plug it back in.
Right. What I'll do is I'll go through the videos I got, and the first one will be about Glastonbury. And the thing is, I'm not going to diss anybody that's in the movement. I don't care if they're shills or not, because they actually bring thousands of people to the movement. And
I don't care who's there as long as they're
that's
there.
not what I'm about. I'm about uniting people.
Yeah.
Hello.
I'm saying
All right, then what I'm going to do, I'm going to show the first
where
video
they
of
come
Glastonbury.
from or what's background. I'm just glad that it's boots on the street, isn't it? Yeah.
Right, I'm going to show a video of Glastonbury to show the people what it was like there. It was more like a festival. There was speakers there. There was retired doctors who were speaking, and there was also plenty of singers and stuff like that. It was like a festival in the centre of Glastonbury. It was quite brilliant. It was. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Hello. She's frozen again.
You can't hear me though, can you?
All right. What I'm going to do, I'm going to play this video.
Okay.
Yeah, I can now.
Oh,
I can now.
Oh, that's good.
Right, I'm going to play this. Hello.
I can hear you.
Oh, folks, this is mad. This is.
Won't it play?
All technical issues. Yeah, so
It
won't play now. So yeah, Glastonbury was pretty good. I went with 5 people, and
I didn't even know it was on.
When we got there, I started my filming, and the other 4 decided to run off. Hello.
I can hear you. I can hear you.
That's good news.
Hi.
Yeah, my video of Glastonbury won't play. I think I know why, but basically in Glastonbury it was a good demo. 5 went, 4 ended up in the pub as soon as we got there, and I ended up filming for 1 hour and 45 minutes on my Todd. So I got a little bit dehydrated, but it was worth going. It was worth going. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
All right, then. Well, so did you hear what I said about the shills?
Yeah.
She keeps on coming in and out. She's freezing.
I'm gonna,
folks. I'm gonna play. If I can play the Wembley video.
I'm gonna go down.
See if I can play the Wembley video. All right.
Leave my guard.
So folks, I'll play this video. This should play. I'm hoping it will. All right. See you in a bit. And this video won't play. What's going on here?
Gonna plug that in.
Hello.
Can you hear me? I'm in my shed.
Yeah. Right. I've suddenly got a problem. My problem is my videos will not play. They will not play.
I was looking forward to seeing the Glastonbury one because I didn't even know anything about it.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, it's Natalie's put it's you.
Yeah, there was one in Wembley. Right, I'm going to go out and I come back in. No, can I do that while I'm on a live?
I don't know. I did, but you're in control, so I don't know. You might cut us off.
Yeah, I don't think I can. Yeah, my Wi-Fi seems to be working all right.
Yeah.
I'll try again.
There's a lot of little groups popping up, Phil, that I'm really pleased about. I keep mentioning it, but you know, like women in the community that have come together so the kids could play together, and they've come together to kind of trade with each other. And I think that's the way forward now. We kind of know what the problems are, and a lot of people have had their eyes opened and we've exposed the problems. We need to really all collectively focus on the solutions, don't we? It's about looking at where we want it to go as a people, rather than allowing them to direct us where they want us to go. We need to start making that stand permanent in the way of creating our own communities, away from, you know, those people that want to follow their rules. I couldn't even buy an ice cream the other day. I stood in the shop 5 minutes in the queue, but when I got to the counter, he said no, because I didn't have a mask and I didn't have a tabard on. So I didn't get my ice cream. But do you know what? He was a young guy, and I thought, you have no idea, mate. Do you know what I mean? And you can't open everybody's eyes, and you can't help. I just see everybody with a mask on, right? I see, I'm scared. That's what I see across their face. I'm scared. Because they're scared. They're all scared of something. They're scared of people saying anything to them. They're scared of getting arrested. They're scared of looking different. They're scared of standing up for themselves. They're scared of catching some deadly virus that's, you know, hay fever or flu. You know, they're so afraid of everything now. So you can't really, you know, it would be bullying really to have a go at them, wouldn't it? Because they're living in fear already, and it's like salt to the wounds. I would hate to think that I'm living in fear like that, and I feel privileged to have my eyes open. And so when I see all these lovely people with their eyes now open, I don't care whether they're shills or not. You know, if people believe that they're on the right side of history, they'll follow them, and they'll end up where we are. And where we are, you get the truth. And as I said before, you've just got to take what you intuitively believe that sits right with you, that resonates with you. So we're all individuals responsible for our own lives and our own thinking and understanding and choices that we make. And if you want to have that, that's your choice, but you at least look at why we're standing up and going no. Because when we all start saying no, that's when we take back the lead of where we want society to go, and that will be, you know, for the betterment of families and certainly for children. But there's a big void now. There's a whole generation that have missed out massively on practical skills. And my mum was quite old when she had me, so she had all the old-fashioned ways about her, you know, cooking, baking, sewing, knitting, all of those skills. I was doing those as a child. We were feral, we were playing out, we had freedom. So that's where my drive comes from, because I see my grandchildren and think they're never going to see or feel that free in the society that they're created for them. So that's my fight, is to make sure that people look at the reality of things and take ownership of what they do about it. So yeah, power to the people wherever you're from, because at least if you come on there as a shill, you might just be persuaded that actually you're in the right crowd.
Yeah, totally agree with you. These so-called shills, or this is why I won't diss anybody really, because at the end of the day, it's about unifying everybody to come together, and that's how we get results. If you're arguing amongst themselves, the establishment are just laughing at us. They're just laughing at us.
Yeah, it's not giving the people that are trying to, like the guy on the bike with the megaphone. He was obviously an agitator. He was clearly trying to cause ill feeling amongst everybody, and everyone just started singing freedom after that for however long. But I was quite impressed how long they kept it up, to be honest. Did he lose interest and go home, that fella, or what? Because I know you were recording him for a little while and then decided you weren't going to give him any more attention.
Yeah, his name was Danny Shine. He's a YouTuber, He's a far left YouTuber, and he was just a distraction, a small distraction through the night, and that's all he was a distraction. There was a few other distractions, like the BBC reporter getting chased. I've got all the footage, but for some reason I can't play it. So what I'm going to have to do is play it later on. I'll do a live feed and I'll show. Yeah, but what I've actually done is I've taken the small clips out of everything that happened on the day regarding when the BBC reporter went in. What a lot of people didn't realise, who was coming out at the same time. Just straight after, a reporter came out. Now, the whole thing was set up from the arrests, where somebody had pushed somebody into the police, and that's what they arrested. That's what they've arrested the guy for, was for assault on a police officer. He was pushed from behind. Not a lot of people had that footage because my camera was above the coppers on the other side, so I could see a guy with a white hat. He actually pushed into the guy with the red rucksack on. So the police withdrew, and then they come back in, but they only withdrew because the reporter, who had gone into Downing Street on my first film, was coming out. He had to be in position to take that photo on the floor of the guy with the rucksack. So basically, and the cheeky sod, I was standing right next to him, and he asked the copper to move his foot so he could get a picture, and the copper moved his leg out of the way so he could get that footage. And then when they arrested the guy and started marching him off, they suddenly stopped the march with the police. And bear in mind, there are police vans on the left. They could have just taken him straight into a police van, and that would have been it. But no, they stopped, and this guy was already in position, this reporter, to take the photos above. And basically, then they carried on. He was then back into position, then ready for the copper, the police woman, the constable woman, who was on the floor. So I've got all that footage. You can see him. It was all organised down to the last minute of exactly what they were going to do. The arrest was going to happen no matter what. It was staged. It was fully staged. Now, if there was shills in there and stuff like that, and actors, yeah, fair enough. I'm not going to start dissing these people because it's no point. They have got followers, and I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to stoop to that level. But at the end of the day, it was staged by the government, by the police, and by the press, because the press knew exactly what was going on. The first distraction of that BBC reporter running around and then back in. Then you want to watch my footage of that guy coming back out with his burgundy top on, and everybody missed that. I think he was definitely it was pre-planned. Even down, he had to get into the right position before they even went in to arrest him. The guy I filmed, anyway.
We were well aware of their tactics, because with Justice for Women and Children, when we had the big demo in Sunderland, when all the football lads came up to support us, and Gerard Batten was speaking and a few others, we planned the route with the police and everything else. They changed it at the last minute. We accommodated that. They told us that the counter demo, the far left, were going to be positioned around the corner. They turned the fountains off in the square so that they could stand in our way. Then they kind of led us down there. The women and children were leading, and they led us down there, stopped us so that the football lads would get agitated and look at what's going on, or the lefties are all there. They started shouting and carrying on, caused to get a reaction. Sky News were positioned just where they needed them to be, and Tasha, the girl that started Justice for Women and Children, her dad was arrested, and so somebody overheard the police saying, "We've got him," when they had no good reason to grab hold of him. But this was it's all orchestrated. so Sky News can get again. And then obviously later on in December, BBC Two Newsnight did a programme on justice for women and children, calling us the first far-right women's group, and asking, you know, the lefty Labour if they, what they thought of us. Well, when you got Fat Miller, the corrupt councillor of Sunderland, Labour leader, whatever he is, big corrupt man that he is, he's getting exposed though. He had his little bit to say, but you know what? He wasn't doing anything about all the rapes that were going on. But see, since we protested, and when they say protests don't work, they do. There's not been as many rapes in Sunderland, and they've stopped allowing so many HMOs too. So it does have an impact when we all stand up and say, no, we're not having it. We want our children to be safe. We want them to have a future. Because that's basically all we're saying. We want to protect our children. We want them to be safe, and we want them to have the rights that they're born with, the free will that they're born with, to choose, not to be manipulated, brainwashed, poisoned, and whatever else, sexualized, used as fodder, you know, harvested in whatever way they want, because it all goes on, you know. So we just need to put an end to it. But we need to see this lockdowns as an opportunity to destroy their systems, to destroy their establishment, and create our own. There's enough people now that are wanting a better education for the children. They're wanting a better environment to work in. They don't want to be taxed to the hilt and fed crap, but they need to turn the TVs off. I mean, that's the biggest thing. I've not watched TV in years. I occasionally in company, but I would never choose to just sit down in front of a TV. It's GB News, mind. I did watch that the other day. And I was watching you all on GB News because they actually showed the protest on Monday, so that was worth watching. So anybody who wants to watch GB News, they're already trying to get them, discredit them and everything else, but they did put the protest on. So there you go. And I think that's the only reason that the BBC showed any of it too, because I believe they showed something, didn't they? So yeah, there's a tick for GB News. We'll wait to see how good they are, really, if they're controlled or what. But
yeah, the BBC showed a little bit. Sky showed a bit in the night before as well, on the night. But it was on Sky News today that the protest, that reporter was getting run round. He was getting chased. It was funny watching, to be honest with you. You can see him on my feed. He's running around the crowd and he's coming back into the gate. He couldn't get in there quick enough. But it was a distraction. It was just a distraction. That's all it was.
You know our counter demos have been the funnest. That when we've been demonstrating for the serious issues, when we stopped the bollocks to Brexit bus in Durham, and we held them up, and they lost track and they missed venues and everything, and then there's Anna Soubry came as well. So it's loads of fun being the counter demo, to be fair. But I'm loving these new demos because there's such a variety of people, and there's different music and different smells, and it's just like, it is a festival of people who value their freedom, and it's so uplifting. And I would recommend anybody, if you're missing out on festivals and get-togethers, come to a demo, come to a freedom demo, and you will be uplifted, because you cannot be when this, you know, you've even got the Hare Krishnas singing and dancing with you, and do you know what I mean? It's
Can you do me a favour, Sharon? Could you keep on talking for about 5 minutes? I'm going to. I better not turn my Wi-Fi off and on, because then we lose the whole thing.
Well, I mean, you can try, but
yeah, it was a bit like a festival. I've got clips of that where everybody's singing, dancing. It was just a brilliant atmosphere on Monday, but it was just a shame the police needed an arrest, and they were willing to do anything to get it. So
yeah,
can everybody hear me?
Apparently, in the nuns are on board. I know, I saw the nuns. Yeah, it's brilliant. Apparently there's a school in Texas that's watched the pandemic film that's been done by those doctors, and so they've started a pandemic school, which is to encourage critical thinkers in the young people, and they're teaching them the subjects, the real science, the real history, and so forth, I believe. And so, and I also saw an advert from a group of women in the Northeast asking for people that could jump on board with an alternative school, you know, to it could teach maths or English or history or whatever. I'm sure there are a lot of teachers that are fed up with this Stasi camps that they're forced to work in, and the curriculum that they're forced to teach. You know, I'm sure there must be old school police, old school teachers, old school whoever, social workers, nurses who have seen the system change so much like we have, and want to come on board with setting up these new schools, these new care hubs, you know, support networks that we can use rather than using the systems that were in place. So yeah, I think you're all right, Phil. There's no freezing in you, so till now.
What I'm going to do, I can't load my videos. What I'll do, I'll come back on later and I'll do a little bit with all the videos and that. But I want to give away a t-shirt. So
comment.
This is. Pardon?
Could you put the links for the videos in the comment?
And not properly anyway.
Can you put the link?
Perhaps I can on YouTube, but what I'll do, I'll just come. Yeah, no, I'm not that techie savvy as far as this StreamYard is concerned. But the question I'm going to be asking for the t-shirt first of all now, I want to get that out of the way. Fiona Barrett, well done for winning the first t-shirt. The second t-shirt, second question is coming up now. And if you've been watching my lives, you'll all know the answer to this one, and it will be the first one who gives me the answer on either YouTube or Facebook, and you'll get a free t-shirt. So folks, start sending your answers in, and good luck with that. So Sharon, it is getting a little bit ridiculous. You're going to these demos and the police want to disrupt it. That's what it was. It was disrupt it and make them move away from the Parliament gates, Downing Street gates, basically. They wanted Whitehall clear because we'd shut it for 8 hours. Whitehall was shut. So I think, yeah, it was a lot. So I don't know what to say. We doing a demo on a Saturday is not going to work. It's not going to change your mind, but I'm still going to support them. I mean, it does spread awareness in these large demos, but I honestly think is when they go into Parliament on a Wednesday, we go to Parliament and everybody takes a day off. If they're so interested with their freedom and everything else on a Saturday, take that day off. I know people can't afford it, but at the end of the day, in the long run, you'll get your money back. You will get your money back because you remove our government, our corrupt government. And we need to go on a Wednesday, and we need to stay until we've actually, the police have backed down and arrested them and taken them to police cells. Otherwise, we take our building back. And we should be able to citizens arrest them, because at the end of the day they've committed treason, genocide. The likes of Tony Blair have committed war crimes, and these people should be held accountable. Now, that's the only way we can do it. We need 1 million people there on a Wednesday, and that will make a difference. We don't let Boris out of Downing Street. Let all the rest of the politicians.
We also need somebody to replace them, though, Phil. We need somebody to take their place and set. Do you know what I mean? If they need doing for treason and tyranny, but we need people to replace them. I mean, I'll vote for Dolores Cahill to have a position in Parliament. But there's a few good people out there that would make a better job of things. So yeah, we need replacing.
I have got a solution. While a lot of people aren't going to like this. What we should do is martial law should be brought in once all these politicians are arrested. The military take over, say, for 6 weeks while the next elections goes on, and then we replace, obviously, martial law after those 6 weeks is then replaced by a new government who are not a bunch of paedophile protectors and paedophiles or criminals, and we replace them by decent people, and get rid of all these politicians. It's simple as that. And we put our own politicians in. But I would go for martial law. I mean, just for 6 weeks or the 3 months while an election is placed to keep law on the streets, and then we bring in our own government, and martial law is discontinued then. Do you know what I mean? I think the only way we're going to do it is with the help of the army as well, mind. I don't know if we'll get the help because a lot of them are so far with the government, but if we can citizen arrest them, put them all in prison cells to start off with, and hopefully some of the police will turn and support us.
Well, the UK
I don't like to see violence.
The UK Freedom Alliance are they've got the Guardians 300. They've been setting up the Guardians 300, and I know that a lot of people have been doing common law police, like common law courses, to look at setting up common law police forces and things, or at least training people through the security services, you know. So we need our own people to be taking over Parliament, don't we? We need our own army, really.
Yeah, we do need a common law. Yeah, we do. I don't think the army would turn on us. I'm quite positive about that. I don't think the police would even start shooting us. Not if we're in those sort of numbers. It would be devastating for the government if they started laying bullets into us. I'd be willing to stand on the line and take a bullet. I'm not afraid of that. If it's freedom for my children, my grandchildren, I'd do it. But I don't think it would come to that. I think the police would back down. Arresting the politicians, that might have to be our job, but we'll have to take over the police stations and lock them all up and start our own courts, our common law courts. Bring back out the common law. No loss, no harm, no injury, and no fraud. It's simple as that.
Yeah. It's so corrupt right through. I mean,
because every
down, isn't it?
Yeah, because at the end of the day, they bring in laws, they bring in new bills. It's just another way of controlling us. Every time they do it, it's got nothing about for the good of the country. It's just about sticking us under their foot and carrying on sticking us under their foot.
Well, they have a communist agenda, don't they?
It's probably the best way.
In order to have communism, you've got to get rid of the middle class. And what are they doing with this pandemic? They're getting rid of the middle class through getting rid of small businesses, crippling small business. It's all corporate. You know, anybody that's still buying through the corporations is still part of the problem. You've got to start buying local, start looking at local sellers, find a community among yourself, see who's growing their organic fruit and veg, see who's selling what you need through a small business or a private business. And this is how we're going to rebuild our communities, because they've destroyed the community so much through the education system. Even things like stopping the parent discipline. Well, they don't teach parents how to discipline to teach the children better. They tell them they're not allowed to punish them, which is fair enough, but they don't teach them. When they stop the parents smacking, I was kept asking, are we going to, you know, when are we going to teach these young people a different way? Because if you've been taught one way from your parents and then the government say you're not allowed to do that, then to be parents don't have the skills or knowledge of another way of doing it. So my question was always, when are we going to fill the void? So you're telling them you can't do this, but you're not giving them an alternative. So how are we teaching them to be better if you just say, no, you can't do that, but we're not giving you anything else? And that's what I've seen over the years. So now we're seeing the you know, parents willing to take the children for the experiments and it's like, where is your head at? But when you look at how they've brainwashed people, you kind of have to go, well, you're pretty much a lost cause, and I've got to, you know, you've got to accept that not everybody wants to research, not everybody wants to find out the truth. They just rather stick their head in the sand and not raise their head, not cross the Rubicon as we did a long time ago, Phil. There's no going back once you become an enemy of the state. You're not employable or anything, believe you me.
Once you wake up.
It's a leap. But it's a leap worth taking. Do you know what? I've never felt so free. You know, it's like I don't live in fear. The only fear, I don't have fear. You know, I worry about the future for my grandchildren, but for myself, I'm untouchable because I don't have that fear. And I recommend it to anybody. Just be brave and go with what you feel within your soul that you want to do, because there's no better feeling than feeling free. And I don't follow the rules or the restrictions. I go about my business. I don't need their material world. So they've not punished me at all by this lockdown. It's been I've seen the positive side of it all. I've seen the benefits that we could reap from them closing down the systems that I was hoping would close down through any means, really.
What I'm going to do, Sharon, because my internet is playing up really bad for some reason, and I can't hear you properly. I know you can hear me, but I can't hear you, and I can't play my videos, so I'm going to have to do another show. But there's not a problem with that. I'd just like to thank you for coming on,
you're more than welcome,
Sharon. It's been a pleasure. I'm just sorry about my end. Just sorry about my end not working properly. It's my internet, it is. I've been told. So,
well, when I was doing mine,
thanks for coming on, Sharon. I'll try and get you on again.
All right. Well, I have to turn my Wi-Fi off.
It's me, it is. It's my internet.
Yeah. But yeah, been good speaking.
I think it's my Wi-Fi. It's only on one bar for some reason.
Okay.
Yeah. So thanks for coming on, Sharon. I would normally. I was going to play out the Bobby and Joseph's birthday wishes video that I had planned, but that's gone to miss as well as the other videos which I was going to show you, which if you bear with me till about 9:30, I'll see if I can get my Wi-Fi working and I'll come back on. Thanks for all the mods who've got rid of any comments which shouldn't be on there. Thanks for watching.
Can I just say, anybody who wants to watch, if you go on Children Matter News, childrenmatter.news for footage of demos and things. You've got Phil's demo footage, and wherever I can go and get the footage as well, it'll be on Children Matter News going live. So just check it out. If one of us goes down, there's always somebody else that can pick it up. And there's quite a few of us now, but yeah, Children Matter News, just thought I'd plug that.
Yeah, I hope you all hear that. Thanks, Sharon. I will check back on who's won the t-shirt. I know Jackie's put down 39 candles. That's a correct answer, but I'll have to check Facebook as well on the time who was first. Okay, thanks all for watching. Please tune in next week. Hopefully my Wi-Fi will be working properly, so I can actually hear the guests. Yeah, and thank you for coming back on, Sharon. Brilliant. So, folks, if you could please join my Demo Welshman YouTube channel. That's up and running now. So I can see all those replies. For some reason, I can't see the Facebook replies, so I'm gonna have to do something about that. Yeah, that's the one. That's all right, Paul. Hope you're all right. Hope you're fine, and everybody else who's been watching. It's working fine now. Let's have a quick look. Let's see if I can actually do this now. Right. Oh, it's working now. This is the guy that was going in first. Now, can you please all share? If you watch this guy, that's him. This is a reporter who's going in. He was just showing his badge to the copper, and he went in. And the one in black next to him, he went in as well with him. Now, if you watch my rest of my, hang on, let's take that one off for a minute. I'll remove that because I just want to show everybody where he was at all times. Right, I'll remove that from the studio. It does. I'm not so good with technical stuff. Right, where was it? This was the first distraction. If it's going to let me play it, let's hopefully let me play it again. Was it not going to let me play the videos? Can you see that, Sharon?
It's loading, but
yeah.
Yeah, this is Danny China.
No. Yeah, I think he is. Obviously, what do you mean by freedom? It means end lockdown. It's common sense, like.
Yeah, he was just there to cause problems. That's what
yeah, but he is. We are.
Right, he was just there to cause problems. That was the first distraction. I'll see if I can find when this other guy comes out. Back out again. Right. Let's see if this will play now. Right. Watch when he goes in now.
He felt threatened. Oh, he felt threatened.
Look who's coming out. One goes in, one comes out. Do you know what I mean?
yeah,
It was that was so obvious. And then I'm trying to get through these videos because while my internet is not too bad. I'm not sure if I've labeled them right. Right, this is him. This was just before the arrest. He was getting into position then. Let's see if he's going to play. Hang on. No, he was getting into position then. That was just before they were going to come into the arrest. I'm actually going to remove that because that what he was going to do. He was trying to get into position. He had enough time to do it. He had about 2 minutes. It was all down to a precision with the police. It was. Right. Let's see if I can. So I'm running through it too quick now because just in case my feed goes again. Yeah. Right, that's the one. See if I can, if this will load. Right, this is just before the arrest, this is. They've all moved into position, all the key players, the police, both sides. Listen for the whistle.
I tell you what, my neck is sunburned.
Hear the whistle?
There they go. There they go. There they go. Bully boys. Scum.
And look who's already in position. I mean, he knew that was happening. A fact. He knew that was a setup, a complete setup. They were going to arrest that guy no matter what.
Yeah.
And it was. Let's remove that one for a minute, because you get the gist of him for the minute. Remove that. Let's see if. So, what are your thoughts on that then?
It doesn't surprise me at all. I mean,
Look,
I think.
What was your thoughts on that?
I'm saying it doesn't surprise me at all. I know how they operate. I've seen it a long time ago. Do you know I think the position that you're in when you're standing watching the crowd and you're not kind of involved in that, you catch more of it, don't you? You see more what's going on.
Yeah. Right. I'm going to show another video while I can. Right. When the police arrested this guy and got the handcuffs on him, they started walking down Whitehall, but they made a stop. I think this is it. No, this is not it. Oh, sorry, that's the wrong one. That is the wrong one. Sorry, I'll have to get rid of that. See if I should have labelled them a little bit better as well.
Well, the person, the other demo, they arrested somebody in Trafalgar Square. They carried him off. They went straight past the ambulance and took him to the police van, even though he appeared to be really badly injured. But that was all a mock-up, wasn't it?
I'm just, yeah, it was staged. It was staged down to the minute. They knew exactly what was going on. Full stop. I don't think this video is going to load now for some reason. My Wi-Fi's gone back down again. What I'll have to do is put it. Yeah, it's just coming up. My Wi-Fi's too weak, I think, for some reason. I don't know why it's done it today. Yeah, folks. So you can get the gist of what's going on. I will put all the clips onto Facebook, and I'll put them onto YouTube as well. It will show the guy as they marched the arrested person down the roads with a red sack. The reporter was then standing on the wall, so you could get a picture's overview. They stopped on purpose for like a 20-second, 30-second stop. And they got him back to the police station instead of taking him in the van, which would have been a lot quicker and easier. Then the police officer was on the floor around the corner. I'll show the video of that later on, where that reporter's in position yet again. I don't believe there was anything wrong with that police officer, by the way, the constable, the lady who's on the floor. I believe that was staged as well. She didn't look like any blood or anything like that was wrong with her. and he was in position again when she was on the floor, and when he picked her up and took her through the police line. So it was all staged. And that's the way it is. Like, do you know what I mean? It's staged. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to say bye for now, Sharon. I'm sure I'll see you soon.
Yes.
And thank you to everybody who's been watching and sharing. Great, and to the mods. I'll see you very soon. All right then.
Yeah.
Good night.
Peace and light, people.
Hello. Yeah.